Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book about personal finance called Rich Dad, Poor Dad back in 1997. The book was instantly a huge hit, and it didn't take long for Kiyosaki to become famous. He explained in the book that there is a difference between being rich and being wealthy, and he went on to say something very surprising. The rich have a lot of money, but the wealthy don't worry about money. I found this very interesting because I've always thought that being rich and being wealthy go hand in hand, and that if you're rich, you probably live a very comfortable life. But this isn't always the case. When I think of someone who is rich, I usually think of someone who has a lot of money and is not afraid to show it. They drive expensive cars, live in expensive homes and neighborhoods, wear designer clothes, and eat at expensive restaurants. As a kid, I wanted to be rich so I could live in a big house, live in a nice neighborhood, drive a fancy car, and buy expensive clothes. I also wanted to be able to sit in the best seats at sporting events and go anywhere in the world whenever I wanted. I really wanted to go to Paris someday. Kiyosaki said that rich people have a lot of money, but wealthy people don't ever worry about it. I gave this some thought, and I came to the conclusion that if wealthy people don't worry about money, then that is what I want to be. I grew up in a financially stable family. We're not rich, but we're not poor. You could say we're middle class. Both of my parents work from 9 to 5, and they work very hard to take care of me and my siblings. They paid for our college education and made sure we had all the basic necessities in life. I can't say that everything was great all the time. There have been months when money was tight and we weren't sure if they would be able to pay for all our bills and other expenses on time. I saw my parents struggle, and I didn't want to live like that. When I read that the wealthy don't worry about money, I thought, wow, that must be nice. Who wouldn't want to never have to worry about money again? I wanted to be financially successful, so I did some research to find out what the difference between the two. Having a lot of money is nice, but I think it's even better to never have to worry about money. This is what I learned after doing some research, and I think it might surprise you a lot. There is a big difference between having a lot of money and being wealthy. The main difference between someone who is rich and someone who is wealthy is that a wealthy person's money is sustainable, which means that a wealthy person will always be rich. A person who is rich will only be rich due to their income, or until their money runs out. I'm sure a lot of you have heard stories about rich actors, celebrities, professional athletes, and so on who used to live fancy lives with big houses, nice cars, expensive clothes, and trips all over the world, but are now on the verge of bankruptcy because they did not know how to manage their money well and have lived this way for a long time. I'm sure you've also heard of the lottery winners who went to bed broke and woke up the next morning a millionaire. But because they didn't know how to handle their money well in the first place, they ended up back where they started or in a worse situation. So, let's look at Luke as an example. Luke is a doctor who makes $310,000 per year, and his wife Jenna is a stay-at-home mom. Most of Luke's income comes from his job, and 5% comes from an investment portfolio that two of his coworkers convinced him to purchase. Luke is a rich man by all accounts. He has a big house, lives in a nice neighborhood, and has 2 luxury cars for himself and his wife. His children go to private schools, and he's a member of the local country club. Luke has a great salary, so he uses it to make sure he fits in and looks like a respectable doctor in society. Of course, Luke has monthly expenses just like everyone else. He has to feed his family, mortgage to pay, car payments, pay for their health insurance, pay taxes, put money away for his kids' college fund, and buy expensive anniversary gifts every year. He also takes a family on vacation every year. When you take these expenses out of his annual income and from the small income from his investments, Luke doesn't have much left to save. Luke's monthly income is about $17,000 after taxes, yet he pays close to $18,500 a month on expenses. With all his monthly salary being used to pay for expenses, he has only $13,500 in his bank account that he's able to save after several years. As good as Luke's salary is, Him and his family are living paycheck to paycheck. Since wealth is defined as the amount of money a person has that can support their way of life even if they stop working. In essence, this is the money that comes in regularly to pay your monthly expenses and can maintain the lifestyle that you have for a long time. This means that if Luke lost his job and the benefits that came with it tomorrow, he would not be able to support his family for even a month. He'll need to find another job or a way to make money right away. Luke is rich, but he is not wealthy. Now, let's look at a person who has a lot of money. Kiyosaki said that even though the wealthy have a lot of money, they don't really have to worry about it. Let's consider Bill Gates. He is one of the wealthiest people in the world. He is a business magnate, an investor, a philanthropist, a humanitarian, and an author. Bill Gates was worth a huge $97.4 billion at the start of 2018. Bill Gates is thought to make about $130 per second, which is about $78,000 per minute. This means that Bill makes more money in an hour than Luke does in a whole year. But Luke is considered rich, but being wealthy means being financially independent. This means you don't live from paycheck to paycheck and don't necessarily need to make more money over a long period of time, because you have enough money saved and passive income coming in from your assets and investments to keep your current lifestyle for the rest of your life. Bill Gates doesn't actively work for the $135 he makes this second or over the $100,000 he will earn by the end of this video. This is the passive income he earns from all the investments, businesses and assets he acquired that makes him money while he sleeps, play golf, and searching philanthropic ventures. Wealth is being rich for a long time, or, in other words, being a rich person who never runs out of money. If Luke quits his job today, he will most likely fall into below the middle class. But Bill Gates could keep the lifestyle he has now for the next 213 years. Even if he retired today and did nothing but eat, sleep, and eat again. But one of the biggest misconceptions is that you don't have to have as much money as Bill Gates or own a big business like Microsoft. Financial success all boils down to consistently practicing good money habits and being fiscally responsible. As long as you have money coming in that you're not directly working for, and if you could stop working today and still live the way you do now, you are considered wealthy. A prime example is Fred and his wife Mindy. They have a combined salary of $100,000, which is not even half of Luke's salary of $310,000. They kept their lifestyle simple and budgeted responsibly to keep their monthly expenses low. Their monthly salary is approximately $5,400 after taxes, and their monthly expenses total about $3,300. This provides them between $1,500 to $2,000 per month disposable income. They opted not to spend this money on jewelry, gifts, new luxury cars, take yearly vacations, or an expensive home. They chose to utilize their money instead. For over 10 years, they made a conscious effort to save their money, invest it and purchase real estate and assets to help their monthly income and net worth grow. They amassed a savings account of $60,000 in their savings, $700,000 investment portfolio and rental properties that provides an additional $1,700 of monthly income. Between Luke and Fred, whose situation would you rather have? When you think of a rich person, you probably picture someone who can buy both what they want and what they need. You know, the $5,000 suit, the $3,000 watch, and the usually foreign-made luxury imported car, the large house on the beach, etc. Just because someone has these rich behaviors, that doesn't mean they have their finances in order. Sometimes, people you think that are rich are actually living paycheck to paycheck or are in so much debt to continue to paint the picture that they are rich, that they can't even pay their bills. When people say, "I want to be rich," they often don't mean they want to be financially secure. Instead, they want the social status, prestige and appearance they think come with being in the $1 Million Club. So, let me ask you, do you want to be rich or wealthy? Thank you for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe.